We have breaking news for you now in our politics lead. A new CNN poll gauging views on immigration and zeroing in on Title 42. Title 42 is the Trump-era pandemic policy that the Biden administration plans to let expire on May 23rd in fewer than 3 weeks. Title 42 allowed border agents to send migrants at the border back to their home countries, using the pandemic as justification for preventing these migrants from claiming asylum. Let's bring in CNN political director David Chalian. And David, many Republicans and, we should note, Democrats have asked the Biden administration to rethink letting this policy expire. And from this poll, it appears they're not alone.
Yeah, especially Democrats in tough re-election races, Jake, right? Take a look overall here in this brand new poll conducted by SSRS for us here at CNN. 57% of Americans in this poll say, no, now is not the right time to end Title 42. Only 43% say yes. So the ending of Title 42 is not where a majority of the country is. And I want you to look at this by party affiliation, Jake. 83% of Republicans now is not the time to end Title 42 that you would expect. 52% of independents are in that space. So again, that critical middle of the electorate. And about a third of Democrats, you were mentioning, some of them have been vocal about this. A third of Democrats say now is not the time to lift Title 42, Jake. But you can also see why this number here puts the president in a political bind.
One of the issues we hear from Democrats is the Biden administration doesn't have a plan for what happens when Title 42 ends. How do Americans feel? Do they think that the Biden administration is prepared to handle this influx of more migrants who may try to cross and who will not be able to be sent out as quickly?
In a word, no, there's not much confidence at all. Take a look. 74% of Americans in the polls say not confident that the Biden administration is prepared to handle this expected influx of migrants. Only 26% say yes. And take a look here when you break it up by party and we ask, well, how confident are you that the administration can handle this? If you add up somewhat and very confident, 52% of Democrats feeling the administration can handle it. But look down here, not too confident, not at all confident. Add that up. That's 47% of Democrats. So Democrats are split while Republicans overwhelmingly have no confidence in the administration on this.
That's stunning, that Democratic number there.
Yeah.
This poll asked if Americans believe that the situation at the border is a crisis. What do the results show?
So not as high of a crisis as we've seen in the past. 68% say yes, it's a crisis at the southern border right now. Last year, April of 2021, that number was at 78%, Jake. And in June of 2019, it was 74%. So if indeed the influx that is expected happens, you might expect to see that 68% number go up. And then I just want to show you this other finding that we asked, just to get a sense of where the country is on whether or not they think Central Americans seeking asylum should be able to do so. 74% of Democrats say yes. They favor allowing Central Americans seeking asylum. 59% of independents say yes, and only a third of Republicans say yes. But it's worth noting a majority of Americans think the higher priority should be limiting the number of people entering into the country, Jake.
All right, David Chalian, thanks so much. Let's discuss. Asted, let me start with you. Your reaction to one of the top line numbers there, it's pretty remarkable. 74% of Americans polled say they are not confident that the Biden administration is prepared to handle more migrants at the border. And it was almost 50% of Democrats say that they're not confident.
I mean, I think that kind of explains what we have seen from particularly those swing state Democrats up for re-election this year. They haven't come out and really backed the Biden administration on this decision. I remember Senator Raphael Warnock in one of them, Georgia, someone up for re-election, not coming out and agreeing with this decision. I think these numbers start to show us why you have a significant number of Democrats who themselves are wary. If we can go back to the primary, though, this was an issue Democrats have had consistently. They were much more comfortable saying what the Trump administration was doing wrong on immigration rather than providing an affirmative plan for what the Biden administration or what Democrats would do correctly. I think this is still an outgrowth from that, and we're seeing a kind of grassroots sense of some voters saying that the administration does not seem fully prepared on this issue, and that's going to be something to watch out for.
And Phil, Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, Democrat up for re-election, he's called out the Biden administration saying they don't have a plan for this influx when Title 42 expires in 2.5 weeks. How do Democrats say, send us back to Washington, keep us in control in the Senate and the White House and the House, if the American people have so little confidence of the government to do basics like this?
Well, I think that latter question is sort of the broad question for the Democrats in the midterms, right? I mean, a lot of the reason you see those numbers of lack of confidence in the Biden administration is because the Biden administration has demonstrated to the American people, or at least the American people have perceived that they ought not to have confidence in them. I do think it's important, though, to recognize that when we talk about the influx once Title 42 is repealed, Biden administration is already getting hammered for the numbers of people that are coming to the border, even though a lot of those people are then removed from the country, right? And those numbers are actually inflated by Title 42. If you go to the DHS numbers, they eject a lot of people from the country who then come right back in the same month. So it actually inflates the number of apprehensions at the border. And so I think the Biden administration has realized they're not going to get a political win on this from having Title 42 because they're still taking the hit for the number of apprehensions each month at the border. I'm not sure how many people are actually going to, how much that apprehensions number is going to increase. The question is, are there the facilities in the United States to handle the people? And that's where the rubber hits the road.
Yeah, and there's also this issue of comprehensive immigration reform that the Biden administration has decided we're not going to put any skin in the game on this because it's a loser in Congress.